Next Kina, Lamed Aleph. Page 91. Next Kina we sing Eish Tukat Bekirbi. This Kina mentions Shabbos and Yom Tov, and the fact that Tisha B'Av itself is a moed. Shabbos is also a place of Shechinah. Yom Tov. Shabbos teaches us to use this world, the importance of malacha. With malacha you can build a mishkan and bring the Rabbon Shalom into this world, or you can become addicted to work and become a workaholic, or be addicted to cell phones and internet and computers and texting. Even frume Beis Yaakov girls and Yeshiva boys are so addicted to texting. Imagine being addicted to other things, but to texting, become an avid to technology. And they've created a new kind of Shabbos, a half Shabbos, where they keep Shabbos, except they can't hold themselves back from texting each other on Shabbos. So Shabbos teaches us to be free and to use this world properly, not to be an evid in the world and not to think that we're the controllers of the world. And every Yom Tov teaches us a different aspect of Hashgachas Hashem, Torah, Cherus, Chazdei Hashem, Sukkos. And Tisha B'Av is also a moed. We come face to face with the Rabban Shalom, sometimes with Hisorerus also. Jews in the concentration camp where they had to eat chametz, they composed the tefillah that Rabban Shalom normally we would be oved you by not eating chametz. But when it's a matter of pikuach nefesh, our avoda is to eat chametz l'shem shamayim, v'nishmarta mi'oben nafshoseichem. And therefore Shabbos has a din of mikdash. Es shabsosai tishmoru mikdashi, es shabsosai tishmoru mikdashi tiro. Shabbos, the Ramban says, is a mikdash. That's where the Shechinah is. And therefore, Shalosh Regalim, we came and we saw the Rabbanu Shalom can be Yachol. And every Aliyah L'Regel is his galus of the Shechinah. Shabbos has in it Shabbos Bereshis, Shabbos of Matan Torah, and the Shabbos Shelo Asid Lavo, and each of the three tefillos represent one of these aspects of Shabbos. Each Suda represents a different aspect of Shabbos, and Shabbos itself, Shelo Asid Lavo is Shin, Bereshis is Beis, and Torah is Tov is Shabbos. Shabbos teaches us how to use the week properly, and therefore Shabbos begins the week, and Shabbos is the culmination of the week. It's Me'ein Olam Haba. I'll tell you two ways that you can really appreciate the Shechinah of Shabbos. First one, the Baba of a Rebbe visited the kever of Elimelech of Leizing, the Noam Elimelech, he sensed such a kedusha that he wanted to hear more about this tzaddik. So there was still someone alive who had lived in the time and had been familiar with the Noam Elimelech. She was a woman who was 95 years old, whose mind was still lucid. So the Rebbe went to speak to her if she had any memories of the Noam Elimelech. She said the following: I remember working in the Rebbe's home when I was quite young. There were many people who came for Shabbos, and the kitchen staff needed help all the time. However, because of all the pressure, there were times when we would scream at one another. It could get tense throughout the week, and Erev Shabbos was worst of all. But then before Shabbos, the Rebbe Reb Melech would come to the kitchen, stand at the door. Even though most of us were young children, he would address us, Kinderlach. People think that I make meaningful and holy Shabboses, but without your help, I would have nothing at all. So I'm here to ask you, did I do anything this week to make you feel bad? Did I treat you with enough respect? If I hurt you in any way, I beg you all to forgive me. There's no way I could ever enter Shabbos if I hurt any of you. The woman, lost in thought, continued, and then the Rebbe would start to cry in front of us. He begged for our mechila and promised us that he would be better to us next week. Can you imagine such a thing? The Heilige Rebbe asking simple kitchen workers for mechila? And after the Rebbe left the kitchen, he would gather his children and would say the same thing to them, begging them for forgiveness in case he had hurt them in any way. And after that, he would approach the Rebbitzin and say the following: Chazal teach us that every Erev Shabbos, every husband and wife have the chance to rectify the sin of Adam Rishon and Chava. Do you know what their worst sin was? It wasn't that they ate from the Eitz Hadas. Rather, it was that they blamed each other afterward. So my Rebbitzin, I'm asking you for mechila, in case I hurt your feelings or didn't treat you like a queen. That's the way to be machnas the Shabbos, that you're able to see the Shechinah. One last Maisa. If you want to know how to bring the Ruach of Shabbos into your home, you should never have to do it this way, but at least maybe this can be an inspiration. Reb Chaim Erlinger had designated one area in his humble home as a Shabbos room. His preparations for Shabbos were performed in that chosen space. His challah cover and kiddush cup were stored there alongside the distinctive tablecloth that was one of the few luxurious items Reb Chaim and his wife allowed themselves. Furthermore, Reb Chaim's spotless Shabbos kapota and freshly brushed hat hung reverently side by side. There were special svarim that Reb Chaim learned on Shabbos, and those too would be found in his special room. His silver washing cup and ornate challah knife rested near each other, prepared to fulfill their purpose when called upon. The special room remained closed the entire week and was only opened to greet the world of Shabbos. The tempest of the Nazi beast thundered through Eastern Europe and indiscriminately stormed over towns and villages, killing all those who stood in its way. As news of the impending onslaught reached Reb Chaim's village, he gathered his family knowing that they were about to die al Kiddush Hashem. Reb Chaim began his final preparations with the calm of preparing on a Friday afternoon. Reb Chaim took out his key and entered the Shabbos room. The shooting was coming closer and closer, just down the road. As the words of Tehillim flowed from his lips, he began to prepare to enter the world of Shabbos, a world in which there is no confusion, no hatred, a world of understanding that everything Hashem does is only for our good. Nazi guards were now heard nearby screaming and shouting. The chilling crashes of shattering glass and the barking of the Nazis' bloodhounds signaling the imminence of their arrival. Each of his children stepped forward, their lips trembling in fear, squeezing their father so tightly, not wanting to ever let go. He placed his loving hands on their heads and blessed each one as he always had on Shabbos Eve. It would not be long now. Children were screaming in terror, then a volley of gunshots, then a deafening silence. They were inching ever closer. Reb Chaim knew the time for Kiddush had arrived. He straightened his kapot and adjusted his hat one last time. With honor and pride, he stepped forward, bid his Shabbos room farewell, and stood by the door, ready to make Kiddush and sanctify God's world one more time. We should never have to enter a Shabbos room like that. But if we understand that that's what Shabbos is all about, and we receive the Shabbos with that same Kedusha, that they were able to receive their special Shabbos, Dai al Kiddush Hashem, then perhaps that Shabbos will protect us, and we shouldn't have to experience a Shabbos like that. Be able to experience, though, the Shabbos as it's meant to be in the time of the Beis HaMikdash. One observation. Shabbos was so much different when there was a Beis HaMikdash. We only have a small taste of what Shabbos is. The biggest proof is today. The Mishnah says that they never instituted a Tainus Tzibur for Geshamim or for other things on a Sunday. One of the reasons is that it is life-threatening to go from Shabbos to a full day fast. So they never made a fast day on Sunday. I don't know. Anybody feel life-threatening because you went from Shabbos to today? Tisha B'Av a lot of times falls out on Sunday. They didn't stop it because of Pikuach Nefesh. I think the answer is simple. In the time of the Beis HaMikdash, which the Mishnah is talking about, when they made Taniyos for Geshamim or whatever, Shabbos was so intense. You could feel the Shechinah so much that to go from that kind of Shabbos immediately into a Tainus Tzibur was deathly, dangerous. But the Shabbos we have now, after Churban Beis HaMikdash, that's the only time we have Tisha B'Av. It's not a Shabbos, it's a pure excuse for what Shabbos used to be. To go from that Shabbos to a full day Tainus, no problem. No problem at all. So Mitzvah Hashem, we should hope for the day that if we at least experience a little Shechinah on Shabbos and Yom Tov, that we'll be given back the real Shabbos and Yom Tov, the Shabbosos where the Shechinah will be open, and the Yomim Tovim where we'll be able to go Aliyah L'Regel, Leiros, Liros, V'Leiros, and HaRav Yom.